welcome to the first ever Watercolor Wednesday video on this channel. My name's Brittany. If you don't know me, probably because I haven't put my name anywhere in this video. Still trying to figure out what I'm going to do about that. Anyways, welcome to the video. In this I will be sketching and then painting a watercolor picture while simultaneously trying to talk to you about some topic or another. So what better way than to start this first video with an introduction about myself. My name's Brittany. I'm from Ohio in the United States. I don't think anyone is watching this from another country, but if you are, hello. I'm an artist that mostly does painting. I prefer to work in oil paints, but I also work with acrylics, and I've been doing a lot more watercolor lately. So that's what you're seeing here. It's the way that I watercolor some flowers, and actually this is part of a project for an illustration job I have. I've illustrated one book already, and I can put the link below to that book, or to some details like our Instagram about it. But anyways, I have a lot of work to do, and I figured this is a good way for me to get it done, and also to share the images a little bit more with people than just doing it and posting it and then that's it. So I guess where I'll start is why I'm making a YouTube video or YouTube channel. And for me, I always remember painting in high school being about hanging out with your fellow art friends, and I would skip literally every single class with a note from the teacher. If we weren't doing anything productive, I'd say, "Can I go to the art room, please? Please." And by senior year, when I had finished all of my necessary classes, I was in art probably every other class of the day. So it was a very social and interactive space where you're painting or drawing or sculpting, and everyone next to you is also doing work, but also talking and hanging out. And I think I really loved that. I think it was a good way to be productive and to stay focused by being unfocused, if that makes sense. And then after high school, which was 10 years ago, I did a lot of hanging out and painting with friends still, where I'd have them come over and just chill, and hopefully they'd have something to work on and I'd have something to work on, or I'd drag a family member into my room just to sit with me for a few hours while I paint. And it was really fun. This was also, since it was 10 years ago, the age where people would get online, like purposefully. They wouldn't just be online all the time. So if I sat down to my computer and I saw who was online, I knew they were online because they wanted some interaction with other people. And so I'd have chat rooms going and forums, and it was just really nice to be connected with people, even if they weren't physically there, and it helped me stay focused and stay on track and paint. So what I've noticed in the last few years with cell phones and social media being what it is, people are always online, but they're not online. So you don't have that intentional interaction anymore. And this is a really long explanation, but I think we have time. For some reason, people also don't have as much time to hang out in person anymore. So I've noticed that it's really hard for me to stay on track and stay focused if there's not someone else hanging out or watching or talking to me and saying, "Hey, you haven't painted in like 20 minutes, get to work." So what I've noticed by filming myself is I feel a sort of pressure to complete something and to make it interesting and to work just a little faster than normal. And this video is sped up 4 times, by the way. I don't paint this fast, but it would have been really long if I didn't, so I don't think anyone would want to watch that. But yeah, what I've noticed by filming myself is that I really get a lot more work done, and then it's really fun to show people the process of how a painting comes to be instead of just, here's a picture, what do you think? Because I think even if somebody buys the painting or owns the painting or I hang the painting in my house, it's like, to me, the most exciting part of a painting is the process. And so many people that follow or like art, they don't get to see that process unless you make a video or a channel. So I'm so grateful that YouTube exists and all the other platforms exist that have opened up that window into the artist world. I don't want anyone to get discouraged watching this video thinking that I'm very productive and I paint super fast and wow, I wish I could be that good. I hope nobody's thinking that. But I don't paint this fast, and it takes a lot of effort to sit down, start to finish a piece. But like I said, I have a lot of work to do. I have a job of commissioned illustrations that need to get done, so this is what I came up with. And so far, so good, I think. I'm painting this rose that I'm looking at, and it's moving along, which is good. And I hope you guys are enjoying watching this. What I want to know from you guys is, what kind of things do you want to know about from me? What kind of questions do you have? If you know me personally and you have questions about my art or what my plans are or what I'm working on, honestly, just comment below, and I want to make videos that you need or you want or that are interesting to you. So comment below your thoughts, let me know what you think about this painting, and any questions you have. You know, I have some ideas for the next upcoming Wednesdays. My goal is to post a Watercolor Wednesday video every week, and some of them will be long, some will probably be short, but they're all going to be about this context where I'm working on something and you get to see the process of that, and I'll have a topic in mind. So if you don't comment, then I'm going to make whatever it is I want to talk about, and hopefully you enjoy that too. So let's talk about what's going on in this video. You see the swatches of color on those pages next to my picture. That's because this illustration job is for a book, and even though every page and everything that I'm doing is going to be very different from one to the next, I want to stick in a pretty consistent color scheme. So I made those swatches in order to remind myself as I'm mixing, like, what shades of red, what shades of blue, and what color families I'm working in. So they've actually been really helpful in deciding what images I'm gonna put. But like, this rose was from a friend of mine, and it was just so beautiful. It was just the perfect color, and I don't know exactly what part of this book that I'm illustrating that it's gonna be for, but I know that it'll work out. I've painted a lot of flowers over the last 2 years. The book that I did before, called Inspired Birth, I did with my yoga instructor. And the book is about just empowering women to know their abilities as birthers, birthing people. And the words are written by Jenna, but each page has a different flower. And I was told that flowers are good imagery for women in labor. Not sure why we're going on this labor tangent, but birth is always a fun topic to talk about. Women can be very visual, but they can also be very internal, and different women need different things. And for me, I found looking at flowers and envisioning them blooming, I bet the flower does a lot of work to bloom, but it's just something that happens, and in the end the result is very beautiful, so the imagery goes really well. And this next project, has some undertones of that theme in it. So yeah, I think a flower is fitting. If you've never painted a rose before, they're pretty consistent from one to the next, but they're all unique and they're all different, so it is a fun subject to paint. And when I say that they're consistent, I mean like the way that the roses are built and constructed. It starts in the middle and it layers on itself, so if you've done 1, if you've done 10, you kind of know what to expect when you're layering in a rose. But when I paint in any medium, my favorite way to paint is to observe something. So whether it's from life or a picture or a person or something in front of me, I look super, super closely at every detail, every color, every shade, and I just try to put that down. And what I've found is that the end result of each of those little details coming together is like a really hyper-realistic, but also a really colorful abstraction. So the painting, it looks like something, whatever's being depicted, but it's done so in a way that's like super focused on those little details. And that's really fun, but it also can be very time consuming, so I'm happy to keep working at it and keep trying and get into a groove where the decisions that are being made step by step can move a little bit quicker. And it's like developing a style and learning how to see. So I see things in a very colorful way, and I love that. I love that I show somebody a flower or a rock or something from nature and it's like super vibrant colors, and everybody says that a rock is just gray or a tree is just brown. And I've never really seen color as just one solid, one color. A tree is not just brown, it's a bunch of different shades, and rocks are not gray. They're a whole rainbow of colors made up from minerals and things that are growing on them, and shadow and light and all of that. It kind of ties into the way I was taught in high school. I said about how I was in the art room literally all the time. I was in the same art room for 4 years with one teacher, and she just built on your skills from 9th through 12th grade. And I think it was awesome to have the consistency of her. It's not always good to have the same teacher for 4 years, but when they're a really good teacher, it's pretty awesome. And one thing she taught me that I never forgot was that black isn't really a color in painting. I mean, you can use black, and I have used black for different things, but my goal is always to find the colors that make up the black. So in the darkest of darks, it's always like a mixture of blues and greens or purple or deep red or something dark brown, but I never ever use black tubes of oil paint. Like sometimes I bought kits and the black paint just, I don't use it. So I have an abundance of it and I'm never going to use it. So yeah, I think with my color theory, it's just everything with pigments can be made up of some colors. And the first book I did, I had these old watercolors from high school, a decade old, and it was just cyan, blue, yellow, and magenta, and I just used those 3 and a little bit of white acrylic, and yeah, I made every color and every shade I needed out of that, just like I was trained. And it was challenging at times, but it could be done. It was probably over halfway through the book that I actually ordered a set of watercolors, like a palette, that gave me a little bit more of an easy time. I wouldn't say it made it possible to get different shades, but it definitely made it easier, quicker, and those little swatches were running out fast. So yeah, I think it's very valuable to understand color, where it comes from. If I ever taught somebody or teach classes, I could definitely go over mixing colors. It's pretty basic, but it's also one of the key foundations to what you do in art. So yeah, that's kind of how I paint. I also am a big fan of using like one brush I don't know why, but I just get very familiar with all the edges and the applications of one brush, and I just get stuck using it for the whole piece, whether it's one of these little watercolors or one of my giant 4-foot oil paintings. I'm a fan of one brush in it. So I've learned in the last year or so that if you can use different brushes, you can get different things accomplished maybe quicker, but it just goes back to my process and what I like to see happen with color and line, and maybe that's just my style, but it's also pretty cost effective to only need one brush, unless the store is out of your favorite brush, which happens. But yeah, so I want to say to you guys, if you're still watching this video, thank you for coming through this journey. It's been very challenging for me to think about adding my voice and definitely like footage of myself, because I know we all kind of get self-conscious about the way we sound or what we look like, and I paint really early in the morning sometimes, and I try to get up and working as quickly as possible, so I'm not going to like do my makeup. I sometimes don't get dressed. I'm in my PJs, and I don't really care if that's how I am on video, but I just want to make sure that I'm not distracting anyone from the artwork. So yeah, it's been a little scary to think about recording myself, but I'm just trying to go for it. So if you have any tips or any ideas or thoughts, like I said, comment them below. Subscribe to my channel, because I'm going to be putting up more videos. Hopefully every Wednesday I'll do one of these, and then in between those I will be painting or posting my time-lapse painting videos of the different things I'm working on. So go check out my other ones I've already posted. If you tell your friends about this, that'd be awesome. And thank you for watching. I'm just going to play some music for the end of this video, and I'll see you next week. Bye!